Voilà, ik ben klaar om naar Los Angeles te trekken. Alright, en nu de tal is op naar Parijs. Woe! En voilà, dan kruipen we nu op een Boeing 777 richting Los Angeles. Alright. Ja, het is zover, we zitten in de vlieger, klaar om op te stijgen naar Los Angeles. Het zal wel een serieus tijdje vliegen worden, maar als we eraan blijven denken dat Half-Life 2 enzovoort op ons ligt te wachten, dan is het geen probleem. Geen probleem, laat maar komen. Lekker van de grond gaan. En hier zijn we dan in Los Angeles. Yo gamers en welkom bij ShrimpTV, de speciale E3 editie. Kick-ass! 今回のですね、グランツーリスモ4というのは、僕らが、プレイステーション2で作る2回目のグランツーリスモということで、非常に悩みました。いくつかの新しい試みをしておりまして、まずですね、このコースは、その道幅がタイトであるということだけではなくてですね、このグランドキャニオンの景観ほぼ、40キロ四方をですね、全てモデリングしております。
Another new feature to add to the narrowness of the course is that, for instance, the Grand Canyon, we've extracted roughly 40 kilometers worth of actual texture or geography of the Grand Canyon and have replicated it in the game. So all of the background that you see, this is not pictures. These are all digitally recreated by the team.
今までのですね、レースゲームの作り方というのとちょっと違うんですけれども、今までのレースゲームというのは大抵道を作ってですね、その向こう側は、うまくごまかすというような作り方をしていたんですが、今回こういうですね、基本的にあるものを全て作ろうというような方法もですね、いざやってみるとですね、ちゃんと、プレイステーション2でもできたというのはですね、今回分かりました。
In the past, for our title and maybe for others, we cannot speak for others, but you may have noticed that most racing games, developers create the course, the car, and the background is kind of set off till later on, and oftentimes the quality isn't as high as the actual course, but due to research and development within the Polyphony Digital Studios, they figured methods to still extract the performance of the PlayStation 2 platform and be able to provide you with great quality, even though this is all background and that you don't necessarily see it all the time.
Hi, my name's Greg Coomer. I work for Valve as a designer there. We're showing Half-Life 2 at the show this year. Well, we've been working on Half-Life 2 since just about the day we shipped Half-Life 1. In Half-Life 2, you play the part of Gordon Freeman. There are a few people who you should remember from the first game, scientists from Black Mesa, and a few new people like allies, one of whom is Alex, a female character who's a friend of yours in the game. The game is being driven by our new engine called Source. Just like Half-Life 1, there are some aliens who are your enemies, some humans who are your enemies.
I noticed that the Gauss cannon is now used as kind of anti-gravitation device which you can manipulate all objects with. Does this weapon has a huge part in the game?
Yes, it does. It's a slightly different weapon from the Gauss cannon from Half-Life 1. This weapon is really more of a physics manipulator. You can pick up objects and throw them, push them away from you, turn them. So really make use of almost everything you can see in the world using this weapon.
Can you pick up enemies with it?
It's sometimes in the game, but it'll be clear when you can and when you can't.
Is the game going to be released on other formats than PC as well?
We are ready to just say at this time that we're working on an Xbox version. Other than that, we don't have any news in that department.
But Xbox is the Xbox hardware is strong enough to cope with the engine?
Yes, it is.
It's cool. Can you tell us anything about the multiplayer part of the game?
We're not yet talking about the multiplayer part of the game.
But there will be a multiplayer part of the game.
There'll be some multiplayer component. Yeah.
And what can you tell us about Team Fortress 2?
We're not going to talk about that at the show. We're not quite ready to do that. There'll be news about that soon.
But it does exist.
It does.
All right. That's all we need to know. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I am an Amazonian warrior, and you're watching Mythica.
Realms gathering worship and gathering faith, and that energy will eventually give you the ability to achieve godhood, to go to Muspelheim, to take the fight to the fire giants with the elder gods. Each of our 4 primary player roles, in which there are subclasses, we have soldiers, stalkers, satyrs, and sorcerers. They have access to rights. The rights of war, the rights of shadow, the rights of nature, and the rights of arcana. And the pyromancer will eventually be triggering one of the rights of arcana. And the way that works is it's group magic. She triggers an ability. Other players then have access to skills to add their energies to that spell. When it hits a certain breaking point, you're capable of pulling off really fast effects. Well, actually, that's one thing we're going to encourage in some respects, because by going through these things and winning them, you're going to be unlocking, well, various branches and various other hooks within the environment that you may not have had experience with, because we're going to have different foci for the actual private realm experience based on who we target in the party, whose story we're trying to tell, as I spit everywhere. Right now, we're showing off the big group magic spell that should be leading towards the complete destruction of this tower. And the tower has one little trick left up its sleeve, and this shows off how sometimes it's a 1-to-1 fight. And that's usually with one of our fire giants. This is a fire giant harvester.
I like what I see.
He's got a very mean temper, and he usually doesn't like people to, well, I guess, have their heads on. So now it's a giant fight. The only problem we have is that there's no equity. He's bigger than all the other party members. Luckily, our Dvergar warrior can grow to be about the same size. It's a pretty impressive skill. One interesting thing about the Dvergar, you don't pick a race per se. When you play the game, you gain mortal worship, you gain mortal faction by answering the prayers of the worthy. And as you do that, for a given faction, you unlock a collectible appearance system, so you can begin to appear more and more like their god. The god of the humans, the god of the Alfar, the god of the Dvergar.
Hi, I'm Bill Roper. We're here at E3 at Blizzard Entertainment, and we're going to show you World of Warcraft today. So we got a lot going on at the show for the first time that people are seeing. We've got 5 different races. We have the dwarves, the orcs, the humans, the Taurens, and the Night Elves. Night Elves we just announced before the show. A lot of different areas. I'll just kind of jump around and show some different things. I would type slash and then wave, and then my character waves. So like if I say hello, for example, you can see he just kind of sits there and talks and gestures. If I put a question mark on the end of it, his body language shows that he's asking a question. If I put an exclamation point to show that I'm like yelling something or I'm adamant about it, then you actually see him, kind of rear back and put his hands up and yell. Also, we wanted to make all the emotes very different. So the wave that I did with the dwarf, the female dwarf, for example, is different than the way that he waves. And then also we're doing a lot of kind of little hidden fun things that Warcraft's really known for. So, for example, if I dance with the male night elf, he goes into the whole Michael Jackson. Woohoo! Yeah, so we wanted to really have a lot of, different kind of fun little things that all the characters do. I go ahead and select that from the map. I go ahead and jump on, and now this kind of serves a dual purpose. One, it's transportation. My Griffin flies there to the destination I've selected, but I can also kind of use it to scout new areas. So as I'm up here on the Griffin, I can look around. I can see everything. As I'm coming into a new area, I can see maybe adventuring areas or points of interest, see where roads are. Like here I can see there's a little town. As I'm flying over it, it's Goldshire, so now I have an idea where that is. Now I can move around on horseback. So we don't have combat on horseback, but it's just another way that players are able to actually move around and get around areas faster. Sure. So now we're going to go fight these crocs. Now he's there fighting with me. See, I'm using my different abilities here. They're all on timers, so some of them...
Can I have your attention, the terminal please? This will serve as the first general boarding announcement for Air Lingus Flight 144 and American Airlines Code 67984 with service to Dublin. But all passengers will be confined to in this flight. Please proceed through security immediately to gate 102 for your boarding.